Well, maybe not all. We might do a little activity at the end.
Okay. Are we doing it all together?
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to talk about square roots, specifically finding the square root of non-perfect squares. And up until this point, we've been doing approximate values, and we're going to talk more about exact values today. So if I had a square, if I drew a square, and the area equals 25 units squared, how do you find the area of a square? Side times side. This is Mrs. Marsh.
You too. Is that a lot? What is that? Unit squared. Oh.
Okay. No, it just came from you.
Yes.
Oh, you know what? I sent no one candidate because I sent the wrong kid down to get the pass. I'm sorry. Thank you. Bye. Aiden, you're leaving for the day. That's what it said. You'll want to check notes later. Okay, so back to this. We know that side times side gives us the area of a square. So we can make those both x because they'll have the same value. Right? So if I was to make an equation for this, it would be x squared equals 25. And then we'd be at square root of x squared equals square root of 25, just like we've been doing with Pythagorean theorem. And then my answer, this is going to be a little bit different because we haven't talked too much about this. What can I multiply to make 25?
5.
And?
5.
Okay, 5 times 5 equals 25. What does negative 5 times negative 5 equal?
Negative 25.
Positive 25. So my answer here could be positive or negative 5.
Do we have to write both those signs?
You need to put the plus and minus sign.
So we have to do all these steps.
Those are really just for that.
It's not a lot.
What do you mean?
A lot of steps.
Yeah, you can just write.
Like, all you would have to do is write this.
This is
Oh, okay.
This
Huh?
is less pencils in there.
There's no more pencils? Oh, that makes me so sad. Okay, let me.
Oh, you got me
I
on
knew-
TikTok right now.
No, it's all your fault.
I knew this day was going to come.
I swear I've never even taken one of those pencils, like, with me. I just borrowed them.
Is this an eraser that's left in here?
You left the eraser. TikTok! I chewed it up, but I left the eraser.
You chewed it.
Oh my
God.
god.
Chewed the pencil?
No, I don't think
No, she
I
did.
Oh my god, with what fruit? Like,
What's
literally
48 squared?
What's 48 squared?
Figure it
Don't
out.
look at me like that.
Oh my
6.9.
god.
You
Six
said
point
right
nine.
now.
I said Brazilian.
Tell us
So
what
you
one
want to
fruit
find
is.
it?
The square root of 49 is
Try
7.
to get your little.
Okay, that is
Use
Oh.
Here you go.
I gave you $5.
I'm gonna back up with that $5.
Okay.
And I'm gonna split with that.
Okay,
Yes.
so let's go ahead and do the next one. We don't need to draw, but I wanted you guys to have a visual of what this was coming from. So my equations would be x squared equals 49. Square root of x squared equals square root of 49. X equals plus or minus 7.
Do we have to do the plus and the negative?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, would we have to do that for like when we do Pythagorean theorem?
So the difference, please listen, is that if you're finding the length of a triangle, you're not going to have a negative length, right, Mia?
Yeah.
You're not going to have a negative length of a triangle.
Oh.
So if it's just the equation that you're given with no other scenario or story or context, then you need to have the plus or minus. If we're talking about the length of a triangle side, it's going to be positive, right? But you need to know that when we're doing these, you can, if it's just the numbers, it can be positive or negative.
Wait, so what did you just wait? Can you like explain that with like
simpler? So like basically you'll only do plus and negative if it's just a singular number.
If it's not related back to a story.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. So let's do this next one. This one's going to be a little bit more work because 48 is not a perfect square.
Oh my god.
So we have x squared equals 48.
It'd be 6.9.
Square root of x squared equals square root of 48. So here's where we're going to get two answers. We're going to get an exact answer and an approximate answer. Approximate is what we've been doing this whole time. Right? I heard somebody say about 6.9. So we would say x is about plus or minus 6.9.
I said it.
I said it.
Actually, it was me.
It was me. It was me first, Jillian.
It was me.
Okay.
Sorry.
My exact value, because this is not a perfect square, x equals plus or minus square root of 48. And I would just leave it like that. Because if I take the square root of 48 times the square root of 48, I'm going to get 48. Just like the square root of 49 times the square root of 49, which is 7 and 7. Multiply those, you get 49. Okay? So let's go ahead to this next one. X squared equals 10. So we're going to have two answers again, an exact and an approximate value. So x equals plus or minus square root of 10.
Can we just write the approximate? Wait, would we
X
write
is
both of
about-
them for like a test?
So that depends on what the question looks like, right? So if it's just the triangle, then you're not going to put the negative value, right? If they're asking for,
Just a triangle.
Oh my god.
like if I give you a triangle and I ask you to find the missing side length, it's not going to be a negative value.
So you will only do that for this.
For if you're just given the numbers with no context, then you need to have both, right? So this is going to be plus or minus 3.1. Notice
I got 3.2.
that the exact values have equals and the approximates still have the squiggles. Okay? So if all you had was this information without the names, you would know this is my exact because it has equals. This is my approximate because it has the squiggles.
Squigs.
Right? So why don't you guys go ahead and do 5 and 6 by yourself?
Can I use that phone calculator? Because this is
That's fine.
you're not fun.
If you have your iPad and it's working, I really want you guys to be using your Desmos calculator.
What? I have a decimal calculator.
Yeah, I have
I feel like
Desmos.
two knows.
I have heard I actually do. Literally like got my business calculator.
What do you hurt you?
Do we have to write both answers on the test?
What?
Yep.
We have to write both answers on the test.
If it's a scenario, or if it's like just giving you the numbers, then yes, I need exact and approximate.
You didn't? I did. So what you get?
Yeah.
I got a 44. It's 2. It's out of 50. It's 2.
take a look up here. Are you guys ready to check your work, or do you need one more time?
One more minute.
One more minute.
check my
Okay.
You like dogs?
Yeah, I love dogs.
I
told my mom and Taylor.
You know you like
Okay. Your answer should be plus or minus square root of
Oh my gosh, I actually
99,
did that right. Oh my god.
plus or minus 9.9, about, plus or minus square root of 86, plus or minus about 9.3.
I did it
I
right.
feel really smart 'cause I did that on my own.
No.
Okay, let's go on to the next page. We're going to skip 7, 8, and 9 right now. This is where you need the exact and the approximate and the plus or minus. Let's look down here at 10, 11, and 12. So this isn't, it might look really different, but it's not. So imagine this was just 2x equals 30. What would you do with the 2 to get x by itself?
Divide them.
Divide both sides by 2.
So this is like review.
So you would get x squared equals 15. And now we're right back where we were.
Oh,
Like,
this is fun. Oh.
right? So we're right back what you guys were just doing. How about number 11? How would I get x by itself? Divide by 5.
Wait a second. 8.
X squared equals 17.
Okay, I get this.
And then what would I do here to get x squared by itself? Divide by 9. So I want you guys to work on 10, 11, and 12 by yourself right now.
Are the top ones just the same
Wait, which
thing?
ones?
10, 11, and 12. We'll come back to,
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
You probably don't toast it, right?
Wait, on these ones, so you have to find the exact approximate.
Actually,
Uh-huh. Yep. Exact and
Wait, so
approximate.
how come on the first one we didn't have to find it?
well, don't get obsessed with them.
I'm so confused.
Well, you're
Why
picky.
we didn't have to.
Because those first two were talking about squares,
Oh.
and they were like, and those were just exacts because they're perfect squares.
Oh, okay, so they're not a perfect square. Okay.
Even if they are a perfect square, you still need to do exact and opposite.
Sometimes I go out and then but when I want a snack I eat cheesecake. That's not a snack, that's a meal. That's kind of offensive.
Just cheese. Can we do
I'm kidding.
the other 3?
I'm not kidding. Oh wait.
You're doing 10, 11, and 12 right now. Just 10, 11, and 12. Okay, check your answers.
Oh, I got that right.
Literally, I was up there for like 2 seconds. Wait, and you're like, oh, I got that right.
Yeah, that's the part I
Because it never talked about an old phone. It always talked about
No, I could have sworn they said something about old
It was a flip phone, and then Ricardo bought her.
Yeah. So the answer's flip phone.
Yeah.
You see, that's the
Are the questions in English? No.
So why do we try to
We're kidding. I'm not gonna get it. It's not really hard, but sometimes I didn't understand what they were saying.
Yeah, they're in Spanish.
Wait, what was the question?
It's something like
What did your dad text her?
How do we do on this? 10, 11, and 12.
I did great. I got 100%.
Okay, let's look at 13, 14, and 15. These are a little different. How am I going to get x squared by itself if I have a plus 5 here? Subtract 5. Yep. So now I have x squared equals 11.
And then we do the same thing.
And because 11, Mia, is not a perfect square, that's how I know I need an exact and an approximate.
Do we do 13, 14, 15?
Well, we're just going to move on to number 15 together after you guys have a chance to copy down number 13. All right, so when you look at number 15, this is like having a two-step equation. So the first thing I'm going to do is add 9 to both sides. So now I'm left with 3x squared equals 75. And then I'm back where I would just divide by that coefficient. So I'm going to divide by 3. And then I'll take the square root of that. And I'm just going to have one answer here, well, an exact answer, because 25 is a perfect square.
wait, no. Oh.
No. Okay, let's move on to the last page. A square napkin has an area of 169 square inches. What is the length of the side of the napkin? So we're going to draw a square napkin. I know that the side lengths are going to be x's because x squared will give me the 169. So x squared equals the area.
Is this everything that's going to go in the study guide?
Well, the study guide is going to have just finding side lengths of triangles using coordinate planes, and then this. We used the coordinate planes last week with the New York City map, and
That's a lot to study for in a night.
you're going to be fine, I promise.
I
All right.
hope so.
So now, Mia, when I look at this, this is referring back to the size of a napkin. So am I going to have a negative value for this?
Yes.
No.
Oh my God.
Nope, because you can't have a negative side length of something, right? So I wouldn't say plus or minus 13 inches. I would just say the side length is 13 inches.
I have a question.
Yes,
Do you know how many questions are on the test?
I don't remember.
Wait, is all of this going to be on the test?
Some problems like this, yep. Okay, last one. We have, these people bought a house and want to create a garden for their new backyard. The garden will be in the shape of a square, so that's nice. And they want the area to be between 120 and 144 feet squared. So we have to decide what is a value that x could be. What could x equal? So that when you multiply them together, you're going to get something between 120 and 144. What could they be?
12.
Well, that's not, 12 would be exactly 144. So it has to be between these two.
13.
That's going to be too big.
12. 11.
Sure, 11.
I did 11.
So if we know that x squared equals 121,
Wait, how'd you get 121?
because that's the square, like the square root of that will be 11, right? So if we decide that we want these two sides to be 11, 11 times 11 is 121.
Oh, and it has to be a number between 120 and 124?
Yep.
I feel like I'm back in 5th grade again. Doing those tests on paper. Like the word probably.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, me neither.
Wouldn't it be a positive or a negative?
School, like 5
It's not, because we're talking about the garden length. So like if it goes back to a story, you're not going to have a negative length of a side of a garden, right?
So the one up there.
Uh-huh.
Oh, and you can't have a negative napkin?
Right. You cannot have a negative napkin length. Okay. We're going to stop right there for today for this section.